This is a continuation of solving by factoring. These problems get a little bit harder, so make sure you've done the other page first. Let's do these 4 examples at the top, and then you should be ready to start working on these. This first problem is a trinomial, but there's a number out front. So first thing we need to do is see if there's a GCF. And in fact, 3 is the GCF. So we're going to divide this by 3. 3 goes on the outside. Your new trinomial, which would be x squared plus 3x minus 4, goes on the inside. Make sure you keep that equal 0. Now we're going to factor this trinomial right here. Okay, so big X again. Negative 4, positive 3, positive negative is negative positive. Factors of 4 that add to 3. We have 1 and 4 or 2 and 2. So 1 and 4 would give us 3. Make sure to include your GCF. All right, so now we have x minus 1, x plus 4. All right, our next step, because we're solving, since it has that equal 0, means we're going to take all of our factors and set them equal to 0. Well, this has 3 factors, so we need to take each one of them. Might help if you divided it up here. Right here, I'm going to say 3 equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0, and x plus 4 equals 0. Now, does 3 actually equal 0? No, that's not true. So that's not actually a solution. It's still a factor, but it's not a solution. This one we can solve. X equals 1. And this one we can solve. X equals negative 4. So this problem has 3 factors, 1, 2, 3, but only 2 solutions, 1, 2. All right, let's do number 2. We have a number out front, so we need to check, is that a GCF or does it have a GCF? Yes, we can divide all of these by 5. So 5 goes on the outside, x squared minus 4x minus 12 goes on the inside, and then we set it equal to 0. No number out front anymore, so we can just go ahead and do big X. Negative 12 on top, negative 4 on the bottom. Negative gives us positive negative. Factors of 12 that add to 4. So we have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. Should be 2 and 6. So I have 5 times x plus 2 times x minus 6 equals 0. Remember, I'm going to take each one and set it equal to 0. 5 equals 0. That's not true, so that is not a factor. Now we can use our little trick we were using on the other one. X equals the opposite, negative 2. And x equals the opposite, positive 6. So again, 3 factors, but only 2 solutions. It only crosses the x-axis twice. All right, 3 and 4, these are the fun ones. They have a number out front, but 2 is not a GCF. All right, so here's where we're going to have to do slip and slide or AC method or bottoms up, whatever you call it. So we take 2, multiply it by the negative 5. So now we have x squared plus 3x minus 10. That's what we're going to factor. All right, so big X, negative 10, positive 3. Then we have positive negative, which is negative positive. The factors of 10 that add to 3 are 2 and 5. So now we have over here, x minus 2 times x plus 5 equals 0. We don't have a GCF out front because we didn't divide by anything at the beginning. However, we did multiply this 2 at the very beginning, to do AC method or bottoms up, which means at the end, now we have to take it back out. So now we have to divide each of our factors by 2. Okay, so this simplifies to x minus 1. This doesn't simplify, so we do bottoms up. 2x plus 5 equals 0. And because it's equal to 0, now we have to solve. So set them equal to 0. If I set this one equal to 0, I would add 1, so x equals positive 1. This one's a little bit harder. So let's do this one. 2x plus 5 equals 0. I have to subtract 5. 2x equals negative 5, and then divide by 2. So x equals negative 5 over 2. Now, there's a little bit of a shortcut here. Okay? If you're solving, you don't actually have to do this bottoms up step right here. Because look, remember we take the opposite of our factor. If I just use this 5 over 2 up here and then took the opposite down here, it would work the same way. So either way, if you want to do this extra step, you can, or go back one step and just take the opposite of that fraction. All right, let's try that again. So on number 4, do we have a GCF? So factors of 8 are 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Can you divide all of these numbers by 8? No. 4? No. 2? No. So no GCF, which means I got to do my slip and slide or AC or bottoms up, this other method. So x squared minus 22x plus 40 equals 0. I'm just going to move it to the end for right now. Let's do big X for this one. 40 on top, negative 22 on the bottom. Negative positive is negative negative. So our factors are going to be 2 and 20. So let's list them out. X minus 2, x minus 20 equals 0. Again, no GCF because we did not divide by anything, but we did multiply, so now we have to make our fractions to even that back out. All right. 2 over 8 simplifies to 1 over 4. And then 20 over 8 simplifies to 5 over 2. Now you can set them equal to 0, do your bottoms up and then set them equal to 0, or we could use this little trick here and just take the opposite of these, right? So this would be x equals positive 1/4, and this one would be x equals positive 5 over 2. Now, if you don't see that trick and you want to do bottoms up, that's okay. Here's what's going to happen. All right, so right here, let me write it over here. If I did bottoms up here, I would have 4x minus 1, and then I would set that equal to 0. I would have to add 1, 4x equals 1, and then divide by 4. I still get x equals 1/4, which is what I had over here. All right, and then the other one, if I did bottoms up, I would have 2x minus 5 equals 0. I would add 5, 2x equals 5, and then divide by 2, x still equals 5 over 2. So you see you get the same answers no matter which way you do it. I prefer to just use a little shortcut, but if that confuses you, do it the other way. All right, you should be able to do the rest of those. I would caution you on the last few, the last 4 on the back, starting with number 9. Make sure it's equal to 0 before you start. See how these are not in standard form? Be careful on those last 4. All right.